How's everybody doing out there? We're back with another episode of the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly movie review. I'm here with Cool Rabbit,
Oh, yeah, man. You know it.
and we're here to review the movie Damsel, starring Millie Bobbie Brown as Elodie. This film was released on Netflix. This was directly released on Netflix on March 8th, 2024. The film was directed by Juan Carlos Fresnadillo. The movie is also starring Ray Winstone, and Angela Bassett has a role in the film as well. But I'm going to get to that much later.
But we gotta know off rip. Is the film woke?
This film did have its woke moments, and I'm using air quotes. There were woke aspects to it, yes, but they blended it into the film well, I must say. I never got a cringe, I never got too many woke cringe moments from this film. But we're going to go ahead and let's dive right into the good. The good is Millie Bobbie Brown. I like her as an actress. I think she's a adaptable actress who can fit into any setting. She's very adaptable. She can fit into a lot of roles. This is obviously a fictional world. This is set in a fictional world, somewhat of a medieval time. That's totally different from Godzilla, which is based in the real world. But still, it's dealing with both of these movies are dealing with big monsters. Her handling huge monsters, and maybe that's a thing that they want to go for with her.
She is badass. I think I'm in love.
Calm down, CR. You got how many little bunnies running around her already? Oh, but that's another video.
Oh, really? Just for that, I'm going to poop in your Michael Jordans while you are sleeping. I am the knight.
Okay. Let's continue. Millie Bobbie Brown delivers on all cylinders, even while being amongst the cast of some pretty decent seasoned actors and actresses such as Angela Bassett, Queen Isabel, played by Wright, and even the dragon, played by Shohreh Aghdashloo. I'm sorry if I butchered the name, but they did a great job talking for the dragon. Though there wasn't any Shakespearean acting, this wasn't no one's gonna win an Oscar for this film, but it is a decent watch. A huge part of the film is just of the creature and Millie Bobbie Brown. Those two dynamics, the dragon, that character was one of the best things of the movie. That segues me into the next part of the good, and that is the female dragon. Again, voiced by Shohreh Aghdashloo. I would say this dragon, and Smaug from Lord of the Rings will go on my list as the most terrifying and sadistic dragons in film and television.
Yeah, man. Draco from Dragonheart, released in 1996, was the first on-screen dragon that gave us not only a sense of power, ferocity, and formidability, but added a majestic aspect to the on-screen dragons as well. Smaug from Lord of the Rings films and lore is another dragon that gave you this feeling. Game of Thrones dragons were more animal-based as they could not talk.
Oh yeah, man. No, you're right, CR. And this dragon is no less. She's just as sadistic as she is tough. But I will say one thing, that in the film, this is not a redeemable character as far as trying their goodness, I would say. And you'll find something in this movie, you're gonna see something in this film, that the story that's part of the bad for me, as far as the story does and the writing. I think there's a lot of the writing could have been better when it came to the dragon. But I'll let you determine that when you watch the film yourself. Also, a part of the good was Nick Robinson as Prince Henry. I think he did a decent job. And again, Robin Wright as Queen Isabel. She did a good job as well. Even the little sister played an excellent little sister role. The visuals were a lot better than I expected for sure. But Netflix, they're beginning to put a lot, they're getting a track record to me for putting a lot of effort and money into their films' visuals. The Dragon was done great. Even though it was majority CGI, it was CGI like only, I'm sorry, not majority, it was CGI only. I still didn't get pulled out of the movie. I didn't get pulled out because of the dragon's effect and the things in the dragon's lair. That was part of the good. Now, there were parts in this film that were done in the daytime when she's going around touring the kingdom. You could tell that this was done in front of a green screen. I'm just gonna say that and you'll see what I mean. But they didn't spend too much time showing off the kingdom, and in that wasn't what the movie focused on. So you didn't really get this. They didn't have enough time to take you out of it and make you feel like you were being pulled away from the fantasy. Now, that segues me into the bad. Some of the visuals, they look rendered. It just happens that way. It looked like they were in front of a green screen in one of the scenes where Elodie was touring the kingdom. The dragons visuals, again, they were, although only CGI, they were still incredible. I can't think of a moment in the dragon's lair where I was taken out of the movie because it looked fake or cheap. Only when it was daytime and the screen was bright and lit could you say, yeah, this is Netflix, and you can see the budget. Another bad aspect of the film will be the limited cast. This tends to happen more and more in films today. This told a story that was a huge story, but you only got a small glimpse of it. And again, this was due to budget, probably. They have small cast. Actors cost money as well. And the smaller scale of the film, you're starting to see less and less actors in those films. For example, you can feel the squeeze of budget in a scene with the king in the beginning where he supposedly took an army with him to slay the dragon. This is what set everything in motion. He supposedly took, this is a king of a kingdom. Like, it does, I know you had more people than that. And it looked like he had 6 men with him overall. It's like, come on, that's not believable. That makes no sense. Why would you do that?
Wow,
That plays
you are
into the
rolling right through this one,
incompetency of
Captain.
the men in the film. Well, the film wasn't that long. With a runtime of just 110 minutes, that's what, an hour and 40 minutes and 10 minutes of that credits and things like that. This wasn't a long film, so, and it didn't need to be. The plot, well, it was just as long as it needed to be. The plot was straightforward and the plot twists were pretty predictable. The story is pretty predictable. And that's part of the ugly, the story. I think it missed a few key opportunities here to really make the film great, to like make a great film. Also, for this to be a fictional place and set in some time period unknown, some unknown land, I will say this could be perceived that they were familiar with antebellum slavery, or that antebellum slavery existed, or that that they at least had some concept of race there. Because I say that because even though this weren't a huge cast, there were brief appearances of black people in the film, but they got relegated to basically being the help. That's what they were. Like, you saw some black people in the background. You saw one of the queen's emissaries, the help. And it definitely, this film kind of definitely gave me very much pompous, snobbish society vibes, where even if the people were dying and starving and broken, destitute, they still were better than the black people that were around them. And even the man who's dying of starvation, destitute and broke, can have him a black slave wife. I just didn't, again, it just gave me the vibes of a pompous society. Now, if that's what they were trying to convey, look, I'm not mad at it. That's just what you were. Your mission accomplished, let's just say that. Which brings me to Angela Bassett. Angela Bassett, why were you here? Why? The fake English accent, the cringe lines, poor character development. She felt so out of place from beginning to end, from the beginning of the film. No joke.
Yeah, I just feel like anyone could have played that role and did just as good. Or better.
Me too, Cool Rabbit. And don't get me wrong, I love her as an actress when it fits, when she's in her element. Again, what made people think that she'll fit in this Game of Thrones-esque setting? With this fake English accent, it was too much. I thought when I first saw it, that took me out of the movie. That was the first thing that took me out of being immersed in this film. When Angela Bassett opened her mouth. I guess they needed ethnicity in the film, so someone had to play the slave wife who would sell her daughter for money and goods, and it's like, come on. Lastly, though, the men in the film, they were ugly in their incompetence. They were incompetent, bumbling, and whiny characters. Even Nick Robinson was just a whiny mama's boy. That's what he seemed like. Maybe that's what they were going for there. That could be true, CR. I still think he did the best job of the male characters in the film. The father, he was dumber than a box of rocks and a creep who would sell his own daughter out to die for some money. He was only second in incompetence to the king in the beginning of the film, who set all the events into motion. I mean, that guy there, for 1 second, or realistically maybe 10 minutes out of the film, the father tries to redeem himself, but it's far too late. And we don't look at it. We can't look at him as a character we can get behind. But that's all I have for The Ugly. Damsel was a film worth watching. Yes, it was. It wasn't too long. It was straight to the point. It didn't waste your time. Millie Bobbie Brown did well. Queen Isabel, played by Wright, did well. And the dragon definitely stood out and will go down, like I said, as being one of those great dragons on screen. And it's one of those creature effects that can even give this film slight replay value, but not much. I see how they tried to set up at the end, and I'll be honest, you only need one of these films. This is a one and done. And I think that this film could actually grow in popularity over time and grow on people over time if you just leave it alone. So with that being said, we've covered the good, bad, and ugly. What do I rate the film? I'll give Damsel a 6 out of 10. Yes, a 6 out of 10. It's on Netflix if you have it. If you have Netflix, it's free. I recommend checking it out. If you won't regret it. So with that being said, this is the Cool Club Online. I'm here with C Rabbit as always. Hit the like and subscribe button. And as always, stay cool.